if you didn't see him being moved to running back.
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos, and here's Stephen Curtis this morning.
Mike.
Good morning to him. Of course, local attorney who is a candidate for the district judge of Pike County.
That's right.
And of course, does that include strictly Pike County, or
yes, it's just it's all of Pike County.
Judge Hightower's position?
Yep.
Of course, you've appeared before him a few times, I'm sure, haven't you?
Very often.
So you know a little bit about the job, don't you?
I do. I'm in his court a good bit. So.
Of course, Stephen, local guy who grew up right here in Troy. Of course, Alabama, #1 again, and let's give the fight song to you this morning. Wake up, whether you're Alabama, Auburn guy, or whatever. Hey, Alabama, the national champion of college football, comes from behind with a tremendous effort by a pure freshman.
Yep.
As he throws a touchdown pass on the last play of the game to give Alabama the national championship over a great Georgia team from Atlanta last night. If you didn't stay up and watch it, you missed a thriller. Did you stay up all the way?
I did. I watched the whole thing.
That boy of yours stay up?
Yeah, they were all up.
Of course, that's going to be a lot of kids late for school today probably because of this tremendous football game last night. And I can't pronounce all the names, but I guarantee you, Tua. That's the one thing we know, that his first name is Tua.
He is something special.
And of course, he came out of nowhere last night in the second half, as Alabama was. I just don't think they could have done much with Hurt, as good as Hurt has been in his career so far. Yep. Only lost 2 games, but
Georgia shut him down.
They sure did, and Alabama couldn't throw the football. And Tua comes in, and of course, first series they stop him first in 3 plays, and Alabama kicks it away. And I was with a bunch of folks last night watching it together. And a lot of people said, "Well, we'll never see him again."
Thought he was done.
But they would bring Hurts back in, but they didn't. They brought Tua back in, and man, he was like a magician.
He was something
like he had eyes in the back of his head.
He was. There's a couple of times where he didn't throw the ball away when he needed to, but other than that, he played phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and of course he was a freshman, and as good as Fromm was, the freshman quarterback from Georgia, and he was outstanding last night. Late in the ball game, he had a guy wide open in the flat, which would have given Georgia a first down and
overthrew him.
Yeah, and overthrew him.
Yeah.
And I said, there is your freshman mistake right there.
That's right.
And he didn't make many, but he made that one, and Alabama took over. But when it got to kicking a field goal right at the last to win the game, the young kid out of Montgomery just hooked it to the left.
He'd already missed one.
And how many people were saying, well, it's just meant to be, Georgia's going to win the national championship.
A lot of people thought that.
And everybody thought for sure that game was going to be over with, but hey, somebody got to kick it.
Yeah.
And Papanaskas, who hails from, I think his daddy's an attorney in Montgomery.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
I want to say that.
How about that?
He's from Trinity High School in Montgomery. Just hooked the chip shot type field goal and gave Georgia another shot.
Yeah.
Their guy kicks a 51-yard field goal.
Yeah, he did well.
And then in overtime, Tua gets trapped behind the line and gets knocked for an 18-yard loss. And boy, you're talking about looking bad. Yeah. And this is in overtime. Alabama's looking at second and about 28 yards to go for first down.
Yeah.
And Tua,
and out of field goal range too.
That's right, out of field goal range, and really without a field goal kicker that hadn't any range at all. Well, Tua looks down the middle and he can't find anybody, and looks over to his left and hits a pure freshman. I've never even heard of him, Smith kid, who wore number 6.
Right.
And he scores a touchdown and Alabama wins.
It's amazing. Tua looked that safety off to the right, before he threw that ball.
And, of course, his name, Tua Tagovailoa, threw a 41-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Smith. to give number 4 Alabama the 26-23 overtime victory over number 3 Georgia to win the college football playoff national championship Monday night. Tua entered the game at halftime, replacing a struggling Jason Hurt, and threw 3 touchdown passes, including the game ender, to give Alabama his 5th national championship since 2009.
Yeah.
So
9 years.
what a great effort by the Crimson Tide, and we could talk about it over and over again. I'll tell you what, both those teams needed this kick. Well, Georgia probably had a pretty good kick returner, but Alabama just did not do well in the kicking game.
Well, neither team did, have many decent run backs in the whole game.
And of course, Troy freshman Marcus Jones has landed as a 3rd-team All-American kick returner, and as a freshman, and
he's special too.
Yeah, I know, and I was saying to myself how bad Alabama, needed him running kicks back last night, and of course, you can't be perfect in everything, and but Alabama last night found a way to win a national championship. Good morning, how you doing?
My name is Bud Luverne. How you
Bud
doing?
from Luverne. Bud, are you
Good morning,
still
Bud.
Are you still peaching yourself?
Yeah, I am. I tell you, the dominance continues. The dynasty still continues. But I'm gonna tell you something, and I hate it. Listen, everybody talking about what Tula done and all this, and he done great. But you got to give the class act of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Knowing at halftime that he was not going back in to start, and the way he handled that, and the team effort and the team support that he showed in the second half has to be commended.
Hurt was the first person up to Tua after he threw that first touchdown pass in the second half.
Yeah, he just,
pretty
you play and you, as a Pee-wee player, you look for opportunities like this. And to go 25-2. Well, now he's 26-2 as a starter.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't instrumental in the comeback. He started the game, Bama won, so he's 26-2.
Yeah.
It's got to be a little disheartening. But listen, with 2 minutes to go in the ball game and regulation, Alabama had 6 freshmen on the field.
It was unbelievable.
6 freshmen.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, oh yeah. But all of them were 5 stars.
I don't care if they 5 stars or 0. That's strong.
Yeah, no
And
doubt.
Najee Harris, Tula, the guy that caught the touchdown pass,
Yeah,
there in regulation.
yeah.
But I tell you when my heart sank is when Papanasis missed that field goal.
Oh,
There's no
boy.
sense in that right there.
I tell you, I hated to say it, but I just had a feeling that it was too much for him. He's out of Trinity High School in Montgomery, had not been real consistent all year, but he had kicked something like 14 out of 15 inside the 40, which was pretty good stats. But I could see it coming. I don't know. I reckon everybody says things like that, but I just wasn't real confident.
I said that, and he's like 52 or 53 out of 53 in extra points.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a bad kicker. He just got that block. But, we go 1 for 3, get that interception on Georgia's first series and don't score. Now, I'm going to say this, too, now. In the last 2 or 3 series of the ball game, Georgia quit doing what got them there. They went strictly to the run, and that played in Alabama's hands.
And I tell you what, they ran the wrong guy. Chubb, Alabama, listen to this. Chubb ran the ball 18 times for 25 yards.
Wow.
The other kid, Michael, ran for almost 100 yards. And why they didn't run him more instead of Chubb? Alabama shut him down.
Yeah, that's right. Shoney Michel was the real deal. We couldn't stop him. Like you said, he carried the ball 14 times for 98 yards. But I'm going to tell you somebody else that had a big role in the comeback, and that was Najee Harris, the freshman running back out of California, number 22.
Boy, you're right. He gave him a spark, no question.
Determined.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great game, and Of course, this kid coming in, like I was telling Stephen early, it was like he had eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah, he's tough, and he can scramble too. Now he's not the Hurts type as a runner, but you know he can get himself out of trouble and made several key first downs there in the fourth quarter to keep drives alive.
No question about it. And let me tell you what you might see. I'm serious about this. You might see Hurts as a running back next year.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think if Hurts, even though he showed a lot of support and everything in class last night, I think him being 26-2 and playing in 2 championship games and directing Alabama like he has, if he don't get the majority of the playing time, I'll look for him to transfer.
Yeah, well, in fact, I don't know what I'm saying. I wouldn't, if he does, I wouldn't doubt if he doesn't transfer this year. And I don't know.
Sit out, and I'm going to tell you now where he'd be a perfect fit. And I hate to say it, but he'd be a perfect fit with Gus Malzahn and that top offense and run the ball. And this is Stidham's last year. You know, Stidham's coming back.
That's right.
Transfer, sit out a year. You know, he still have 2 good years at somewhere like Auburn or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just think it was a great team effort. And Coach Smart. And I heard one time, I listened to the Bama broadcast, at one time, or on this coaching staff, there are 10 coaches on the Georgia coaching staff who has either played for or coached under Coach Saban.
Yeah, it was unreal. You're exactly right. So much. Everybody there, it seemed like knew a lot about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said to a friend during the game, we were texting back and forth that if Bama lost the ball game, that Bama would get beat by a Bama-like team in Georgia. I mean, they just Coach Smart has put every blueprint he learned from Saban under over at Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I kept saying for a long time, that Georgia just had more skilled people than Alabama, and I said that until. But then they bring this quarterback in and starts making things happen. You know, Alabama had been throwing to just one receiver for the last 3 or 4 games, and that was Ridley. Yeah. And now it seemed like they had all kinds of receivers out there. In fact, I've never even heard of number 6 before that scored a touchdown. I've never even heard of him.
Yeah, you know, and he didn't lock on the receiver like they kept saying after the ball game on all these talk shows that Georgia was in a two deep cover zone, and he played the guy on the safety on the right hand side. He played him off with his eyes.
That's right.
And he always kept his eyes up, even in the scramble. He keeps his eyes up. Hurts won't do that.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it was one. You know, even you could tell that Saban was just overjoyed. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it any more than we could.
Listen, let me tell you something. This is probably Coach Saban's best coaching year by far of any year that he's been a head coach. With the injuries we've had on the offensive line, at linebacker, inconsistency in field goal kicking, this is probably his best coaching job of his career.
I wouldn't doubt it.
He seemed to think that too at the end of the game.
And he was shocked and was stunned as much as any of us were, you know.
And he was not happy with 3 seconds to go in the game when Papanasis missed that field goal. You could tell.
You know, and I tell you what, and thank goodness the Lord took care of Papanasis by Alabama coming back and winning, because can you see, Papanasis would have been a GOAT for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and Mike and Stephen, I'm going to say one other thing before I go. I also want to give a shout out to the Georgia Redcoat Marching Band. Yesterday morning, the $1 Million Band heard of a color guard lady, female student.
Passed away.
Yesterday morning, lost her battle. 18 years old, lost her battle with brain cancer.
Oh boy! And, at Alabama or Georgia?
Georgia.
Alabama lost a colored guard, 18-year-old who.
He was Alabama kid. Okay.
Yesterday. But the Georgia Redcoat Band come out with little silver ribbons on their uniforms and spent a lot of time with the $1 Million Band yesterday. And that's just got to give credit to them for the support that they gave the $1 Million Band. in this tragic loss. And this little girl, I don't have her name, but she was 18 at the University of Alabama, color guard, and she lost her life with brain cancer yesterday.
Man.
I just wanted to say that. I didn't mean to put a damper, but
Well, I'm glad you told us about that. I really am.
there are more things we get caught up as sports enthusiasts and fans of things that really don't matter, and something like this will bring you back to reality and put you on the ground and let you know who you are. The good Lord takes care of everything, and I just want to say that. And I appreciate your show. I appreciate your guest, Stephen. I appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir.
And I will call y'all tomorrow.
Well, thank you so much.
Have a good day, Bud.
Bud, and we appreciate it. And that's Bud from Luverne this morning. We appreciate him and enjoy his calls and his analysis of the game. And, of course, we can talk all day long about this big win for Alabama. Of course, it was the 5th national championship in the last 9 years for Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide. And, of course, as good as Auburn is, they still have to live in a state with Alabama, you know.
Right.
So, that rivalry is going to live on.
You know, Auburn didn't do what they needed to do to get there. So.
And then, of course, you look at Georgia now coming on, and, of course, Auburn's going to always be tough. LSU's going to always be tough. Tennessee's going to be better with their new coach. Florida's going to be better. This SEC's going all they're going to do is get stronger.
Oh, yeah. They're always strong.
No question about it. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
The new Smokehouse Pizza from Little Caesars is our first pizza with 3 smoked meats, so we got barbecue champion Big Mo Queson to test it out. 8-hour smoked brisket.
Certified beefified.
10-hour smoked pulled pork.
Certified hoggified.
Applewood smoked bacon.
Certified baconfied.
Drizzled with tangy barbecue sauce plus a Smokehouse seasoned crust.
Certified smokified.
The new Smokehouse Pizza. Only $9 and only at Little Caesars.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Napa know-how.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how. Napa know-how.
Back to our show, and ladies and gentlemen, again, if you've been sleeping with a sack over your head or whatever last night, if you stayed up late, and of course it was after 12 o'clock before I got home, I know that. Alabama has pulled it off one more time with a 26-23 victory over Georgia to win the national championship in football. And again, more dominance by Coach Nick Saban. That was his 5th national championship in the last 9 years. Of course, one of the bright young coaches in America is Scott Frost, who is leaving Central Florida to go to Nebraska.
Yeah, he's
he's a former Nebraska quarterback. He's a perfect fit, sounds like to me.
Yeah, and he's taking all of his guys with him too. I think I heard.
Yeah, I know he's taking a lot of his coaches.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And let's see, he'll probably be trying to take some players
I'm
too.
sure he will be trying to get some of them out there. They're a pretty good team. You know.
Scott Frost is leaving Central Florida for a return home to Nebraska, and sees a bright future for Sterling Jones, and Sterling is to be a good player. He said Frost said Saturday after accepting the Eddie Robinson Award, he's fast and explosive linebacker as we have. We redshirted him, but he's going to have a great opportunity to contribute next year. So Frost was a 6'2", 246-pounder from Montgomery. In one game this season, he broke the record for most tackles, and of course he is a. I was thinking, I was reading into this thing that he was going to go to Nebraska with it
He's
with
staying
Frost.
though, isn't he?
But yeah, he does. Of course, he's a great linebacker, and Frost, who led the 12th ranked Knights to an undefeated 13-0 season, is replacing Mike Riley as the coach at Nebraska. And he closed out his, and of course I was trying to read into something, thinking that he was going to take some players with him, and I'm sure he'll try to do
get
that.
some to end up going
especially
with
some of these skill players, and they'll have to sit out a year, but
they'll still, you know, they get in that bigger conference, they'll have a little bit more hard time.
I want to mention the Alabama State Real Estate Connection, located on South Grundy Street right here in Troy, and of course Carol Amos, somebody I know pretty well, is one of the salespeople with a very good company.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to mention also Trojan Detail, and for the best detail job you'll get anywhere on your vehicle, Trojan Decal on Montgomery Street, right here in Troy. And of course, we're still got a little withdrawal, or whatever you call it, from last night.
That's right. Hard to believe football's over now until
exactly right. And of course,
fall.
Now all we do is wait for a little bit of recruiting, and then spring break, spring practice.
Will be here before you know it.
And thank goodness, knock on wood, nobody has hired our coach yet, and hopefully everybody's got all the coaches hired. But Neil Brown is definitely one of the top young coaches in America. And
now somebody showed me a tweet yesterday that he had interviewed at Arizona, and I don't know if it's true or not.
Okay, well I knew that job was available, and
I don't know if it's true that he interviewed, but I think the sportscaster, the female from WSFA, tweeted that out last night.
Would not surprise me, and boy, let's keep our fingers crossed here.
Yeah, we need to keep them here if we can.
Yeah, I know it, and of course I think that's just too far west now.
That's right. They don't need to go that far.
Exactly right. Of course, now we can get our attention leaning more toward basketball, and the Auburn Tigers are now ranked 22nd in the country. They have won something like 12 straight, something like that.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with them a lot. I know they've had a good run here.
And of course, they're doing it without two of their better players because they're concerned about the probation or some of the things that has happened in basketball the last few months. So they're holding out probably the top player on their team just in case he is.
Any kind of implications.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, the worst thing in the world for Auburn is with this good team to be put on probation.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
So that's something that hopefully, and this Wiley kid, supposed to be one of the top young players in the country.
Yeah, he's good. You know, Bruce Pearl, he can put a spark in a program.
Oh, no question about it.
He's got the charisma to get people fired up.
Okay, we want you to call in and give your opinion on last night's game, but with Alabama and Georgia, and let's take a look at with Georgia's emergence, and they're definitely going to be a team to watch from here on. Mm-hmm. Auburn, Alabama, that's three maybe of the top 10 programs in the country right now.
You know, Auburn's losing their two best running backs, though. They're both prepared for the draft, so that's going to affect that spread
it's going to have it's going to have an effect on them. But I tell you, Malzahn has gone out and recruited some good players. In fact, He has one of the top running backs in the country coming in next year, and but it does hurt to lose these veteran players and so forth. And like you said, Steedham, the quarterback, could go if he wanted to, but they say he's going, like you said, coming back. Right. And of course, all I'm going for this big money. You know,
you really can't blame them. You know, a career-ending injury in college would be devastating.
No question about it. Of course, Villanova is back at #1 in basketball, and that surprises nobody, as they were #1 last week before getting beat by, let's see, who was that that beat them? I want to say it was one of the teams from the South, but right now Villanova is #1, West Virginia 2, Virginia is 3, Michigan State 4, Purdue is 5, Wichita State 6, Duke 7th, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Xavier round out the top 10. And Auburn, as we mentioned, has moved up to 22nd in the country.
Well, where's Kentucky? I hadn't been watching any
of
that.
Well, you know, they're still in the top 25, but they've lost 3 games now. And they're 12-3, and you know, they're a young team, but all of their teams are young. It doesn't really seem to matter.
Most of these basketball stars are one and done these days.
No question about it. Of course, looking at pro football, Tennessee beat Kansas City. We didn't talk about that much yesterday because of the hype of the Alabama game. Atlanta beat the Rams, so now it'll be coming up this weekend. Of course, Jacksonville beat Buffalo, and New Orleans beat Carolina. So the division playoffs, Atlanta is at Philadelphia this week. Then comes Tennessee at New England. Jacksonville is at Pittsburgh, and New Orleans is at Minnesota. So that rounds out the championship series and this week. So we've still got a couple more weeks of pro ball.
Basketball, football, that's right.
So and of course, you know, if you keep up with the pros, you know, it's sort of hard to do when you live in a college football state like Alabama, but. But, of course, we've got golf. We've got all kinds of things to talk about today. So give us a ring. Of course, this show is brought to you by Trojan Auto Parts. And also BB&T Bank, located on Highway 231 right here in Troy. And, of course, that's a big bank. And we're glad that they're in town and great people. And, you know, we'll be talking more and more about them. They're one of our new sponsors on our show. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Troy Cable is the leader in smart home security, giving you solutions to monitor, protect, and automate your home. Troy Cable Security keeps your property safe with 24/7 professional monitoring and emergency response. Control thermostats and lighting remotely, which allow options for saving energy and money. Control access to your home remotely with integrated controls for door locks. You can even add our smart home cameras, which allow you to see what you care about instantly. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Napa know-how.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how. Napa know-how.
Yeah. Well, they had quite a vacation, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, Stephen Curtis is on our show today, a local attorney who is a candidate for the
District judge.
Circuit judge.
District judge.
District judge, which is a position vacated by the retirement of
Bill Hightower.
Bill Hightower, who was in that position how long?
You know, I always forget. I think it's a little over 40 years. Hard to believe.
Yeah. Of course, now you're with the firm of Calhoun, Falk, and Curtis.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a very old, established firm.
Yeah, you know, Dickie Calhoun and Pye Brantley worked together for a long time, for a number of years, and then Joe Falk worked with Ewell Orm.
That's right.
And then when Pye Brantley and Ewell Orm weren't around anymore, they kind of merged firms. And
of course, Orm was the attorney for the bank. Is that right?
He was. Was it Pike County Bank?
No, it was it was the
Farmers and Merchants, which
Farmers
became
and Merchants,
First Alabama, which
Bank,
became Regions. Yeah.
That's right, and of course, old bank, and been there. Shoot, I reckon since the late 1800s.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, we were talking about the other day that Douglas Brothers Jewelry is one of the oldest businesses in Pike County, and there's still some contracts with Douglas Brothers Jewelry. I think it had to do with some insurance policies or whatever, and the first A&M
really?
bank. So
how about that?
it's amazing how some of these businesses have been around a long time. Of course, I would say that the oldest business in Pike County would be the Messenger, and of course don't live in Troy without taking the Messenger.
Right.
And it's been here since the mid-60s, 1860s.
1860s, yeah.
And of course,
I didn't realize that was the oldest business in town.
That's right.
I did not know that.
And Douglas Brothers Jewelry, I think, is the second oldest.
Yeah.
And they got their start back in the 70s or early 80s.
Wow.
And that a Douglas or a
Qualls had been there.
Been that.
That's hard to believe that the family's still.
No question about it. Now your family comes from Luverne or Goshen?
Yeah, well, generally in the Glenwood area, Glenwood, Goshen,
okay,
Luverne area. So
great bunch of folks in Glenwood.
Yeah,
Alabama.
my dad loves Glenwood. He said he'd move back there today if he could, but you know.
Well, it's been Glenwood is to me a big part of Crenshaw County.
Right.
In fact, it's not but 4 or 5 miles from Luverne.
Yeah, and it's right there near the Pike County line as well.
So. Faith West Ward, a good friend of mine, who's the executive director of the Troy University Alumni Chapter, is originally from Glenwood.
I did not know that. Wow.
Oh yeah, she was a West, and of course one of the best football players that ever come out of that area was a guy named Charles West.
Really? Who
was later on the sheriff of Crenshaw County, and now he's retired. But some great people. And while we're talking about Glenwood, Joe Lester, hope Joe's doing better. He's been sick, and hopefully
he's related to him and my mom are cousins.
Okay, so, that's a big family over there.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And Joe was a good football player, and his brothers were good athletes. And Joe played at Luverne High School, and I think the other boys played at the Crenshaw Christian Academy.
Private school over there. Yeah. Didn't know that.
And of course, a big family and good family, of course. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you have overslept or if you went to bed too early and hadn't looked at the newspaper yet, all it says is this. It says Tide Turner. And of course, that was one of the headlines. And then the other one was the Never Too Late. And of course, Tua is spelled T-U-A. And I tell you something about him. He's a very humble young man.
He is.
He's quick to let people know who he owes all the credit to.
Yeah, he mentioned Christ when he was, in his first little interview.
And I heard a big crowd ovation. I like that.
Yeah, I think so. That was good.
And boy, the people that were at that game last night had to be tickled those that drove back last night, of course, they were going to pick up an hour when they get back to Alabama, but that still was a long drive, and to get out of there is going to be tough.
I bet the traffic getting out of Atlanta was not fun.
And I know there were several people that went over and were going to try to get back and go to work next day, but I just watched it on TV, and I'm
still tired.
I'm tired.
You're right.
Now, you got 4 boys.
I do.
Now, tell us about them.
My oldest, Cade, he's just turned 19 last week. He's a freshman at Troy. Cole.
Cade,
C-A-D-E.
I like that, C-A-D-E.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Cole will be 16 next week, a week from today.
All right, now there's a Cole Coppage and a Cole Curtis.
That's right. Now, Cole Coppage is a year older than my Cole.
Yeah, but his name's Cole, too.
Cole Curtis, Cole Coppage, that's right. Cole's in 10th grade at Charles Henderson. And then I've got Miles is 14. He's in the 8th grade at the middle school.
Yeah.
And then Hayes just turned 10.
Boy.
So he's in 4th grade at the elementary
school. Is Hayes
a
family name?
No, we just picked it out. No family name. Yeah. Andrew Hayes is his name.
4 boys. That's amazing.
It's
well, you ought to have somebody that always mow the grass.
You would think. It doesn't work out that way at my house. I think I'm the one that does all the grass mowing.
Oh, gosh. I know what you mean.
My wife says I'm too controlling.
All right, you got one driving a car or 2?
Got one driving, got another one that expects to be driving a week from today when he turns 16, so we'll see what happens.
Well, that's good. And, of course, now, one of them played football. Do you have any other?
My oldest played football at the high school. Cole, the 10th grader, he's gotten into tennis.
Yeah.
He ran cross country for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But he's really fell in love with tennis and has
been
focusing on that. And he's about almost 6'2".
Yeah.
And gotten real tall and getting better at tennis and loves it. Yeah. So.
You know, last night the president was at the game, and it seemed like the crowd gave him quite an ovation. I was pretty impressed with him last night. You know, he is very patriotic. You know,
he is,
and of course should be. But I mean, you know, he didn't have to do what he did.
No, you know, to walk out on the field with those military guys, that's pretty
right.
Cool. Pretty neat.
And I didn't hear much from him the rest of the game. Was he in a box or anything?
You know, I don't know. I heard that he was in a box, I think, the first half is what I heard. So I don't know if he ended up leaving or left early or stayed for the whole thing.
Well, I hope we'll start getting more and more unity in our government, and you know, everybody trying to do the same things to make our country a better place. And you know, I didn't think I would ever live to the day that I'd have to defend my religion and who I trust in, the Lord Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And my nation.
That's true.
I didn't think I'd have to defend either one of them.
I know, it's kind of sad that society's gotten to that point.
Isn't that something?
It's
and you know, and for me to be concerned or elated over or an ovation for my Lord Jesus Christ.
That's right. It should be expected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now, people, you know what it looks like too is going to be. He's going to be a lot like the great Florida quarterback.
Tebow.
In stressing his religion.
Yeah, and Tebow got shamed for that by a lot of people.
I know it.
Still does.
Oh, yeah. And considered, different. You know, because he talks about his salvation and talks about his Lord, and of course, what he believes in. You know, his religious belief, and you know, thank goodness for our freedom in America that you know we can tell people about our Lord Jesus Christ, and at the same time not be persecuted for it.
That's right.
But again, I worry about our country, and it just doesn't seem like we put the Lord first like we should.
Yeah, you know, and somebody's always trying to put you down when you're acting like
that. You're different. And being a Christian is being different, you know?
Yeah, when it should be
the
norm.
Yeah. Of course, you as an attorney, you know, you run into situations all the time, you know, on different issues. You know, you've got to be a man that, like recently, you know, things happened in our community and so forth. You know, anytime we have young people involved in crime or young people involved in good things, you know, whether or not they're a star athlete or they're in trouble with the police, you know, you've got to see it, you got to look at it as a judge right there in the middle. You've got you got to do what the law says. Is that right?
Exactly right. You know, I mean, and there's two sides to every story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you gotta
you believe in being flexible. Is that right?
You have to be flexible, and you know, you have to hear both sides, and sometimes it takes time to get both sides. You know, enough time for the stories to be told of what's going on.
And then at the same time, I reckon you know, people have a tendency to you know, look at a judge and say, well, I'll make this decision or I'll make that decision. You've got to do what the law says. Is that right? I mean, it can't be just
you know, I mean,
your personal feeling.
My understanding of, and my, you know, if I'm fortunate enough to become the district judge, I am going to make rulings based on the law. I'm not going to make them based on, you know, what I think should happen. Is the law's the law.
Yeah.
That's what a judge's job is to enforce the law.
Yeah.
You know.
And of course, I'm sure you've been before judges that you didn't agree with.
You know,
but then as a lawyer, you gotta that's going to be the decision that's going to be made.
We're fortunate in Pike County with our circuit judges and with our district judge, you know, that even if I don't agree with maybe what a judge rules in a case, with our current judges right now, I know that if they rule a certain way, that they believe that's what they had to do. You know, it's not, I don't believe any of our judges are biased by any one side or the other. I think they give everybody a fair shake, and that's what I want to be able to do.
Yeah. Of course, you've been an attorney for how many years?
Just over 20.
20 years, so you've seen it all pretty much.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything.
What type of work do you do?
Now I do a good bit of domestics, you know, divorces, custody, visitation, do a good bit of probate work, do some real estate, closements on houses, things like that. I represent DHR, I do a lot of that court is in front of Judge Hightower in district court involving, you know, dependent children, things like that. So, you know, that's one of the main reasons I want to be the district judge. Is I think my involvement with DHR over the last 15, 20 years, you know, being able to affect kids, it's important.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, Stephen Curtis is our guest this morning, and of course, again, the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Now, you know, I have to hotwire this. We're going on break. But I've got to hotwire this, and it's going to be Yay Alabama once we do it. Yay Alabama! The Crimson Tide of Alabama does it again, winning the national championship for the 5th time in the last 9 years. Yeah. So quite a program at the University of Alabama. Big Al is excited. Everybody's excited. I'm sure there'll be a lot of parades and fanfare that will, when Alabama comes back in, I'm sure there'll be a big parade at least by the weekend, wouldn't you think?
I would think they would certainly do that by then.
No question about it. And of course, you like to make that trip to Tuscaloosa. It'd be a lot of fun. It'd be something that your kids would remember for a long time. To go and meet these players and celebrate the big national championship. Of course, I want to mention Bearfields in Ozark, and I know my good friend Mike Bearfield has got to be excited. And a guy that works for Mike is a former great quarterback at Alabama, and of course they called him he actually came to Alabama from Louisiana, the Bogalusa, Louisiana, and Terry Davis is his name.
Really?
He was the first wishbone quarterback at Alabama. And Terry, if you're watching this morning, I know you're excited. He probably
He
not
works
back.
at Bearfields?
Yeah, he just
Really?
works part-time
Okay.
there, and
How
of
about
course
that?
he's retired pretty much. And of course he was the first great wishbone quarterback at Alabama.
Interesting.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course we appreciate all of our sponsors, Dowling Equipment Rental, located on Park Avenue in Enterprise, and you know, they have everything from a lawnmower to a bulldozer.
Yeah.
So we appreciate them being a part of our show. Of course, we've got other things going on to talk about. I don't know if you watched this the other day. I reckon football gets us off of golf a little bit, but Dustin Johnson won the golf tournament this past weekend in Hawaii, and the last one of the last shots he made was on a par 4, 440-yard par 4. He hit a ball that rolled that far from the hole.
On his drive?
On his drive.
Amazing. Wow.
It hit an embankment and just shot across the golf course.
He's a long hitter anyway.
And wouldn't that be a heck of an hole-in-one?
That would have been incredible.
No question about it.
Amazing.
And,
I guess that would have been called an albatross, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How about
Exactly. No question about it. And of course, you know, he's one of the favorites to be the #1 golfer in the country right now, in the world. And behind him is Jordan Spieth. Now Jordan's game's probably going to get have a little decline because he got married.
You think that might affect his
Yeah,
golf
he's
game?
going to have something else other than to
She
think
might not
about.
let him play as much.
Exactly. Then the third top player right now in the country is John Rahm. He's from ESP. What is that?
Spain.
Spain, yeah.
I
didn't
know
know
who
he
that
was
is.
from Spain. Did you?
No, I didn't.
R-A-H-M. Rahm, yeah. Then Justin Thomas, the former University of Alabama golfer, is fourth. Hideki Matsuyama is from Japan, is fifth. Then followed by Justin Rose, Ricky Fowler, Brooks Koepka, Henrik Stenson, and the 10th rated player in the world right now is Sergio Garcia. And the 11th is Rory McIlroy. So McIlroy's stock has gone down a little bit.
It has a little bit.
No question about it. Of course, our show is brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need. Now, Troy Bank and Trust Company has got 12 locations. Can you name them?
You made me do this one of the previous shows, and I think I missed one. I'll try. They got, 3 in Troy?
Yep.
Brundage?
Yep.
Ayrton?
Yes.
Auburn?
Yes.
Eufaula?
No.
No, maybe. That's only half of them. Enterprise?
Yes.
New Brockton?
Yes. You're pretty good.
I'm trying to remember. I know I'm missing some other. That's 8.
Yeah.
You're going to have to help me out.
All right. Goshen.
They got one in Dothan now?
Yeah, got one in
9.
Dothan. Got one in Goshen.
Yeah.
You got one in Elba.
Elba's the one I missed. That's right.
Well, isn't that amazing? 12 locations for Troy Bank and Trust Company, the only bank you'll ever need.
Amazing.
Of course, Stephen Curtis is our guest, and Stephen is a local attorney, and you know, something that you know, this time of year, everybody starts looking at taxes and paying taxes and whatever. This new tax law, how will that affect the average person?
You know, I don't know. I tell people that ask me tax questions that they need to talk to an accountant. That's, you know, I don't know. I rely on my accountant to tell me.
I agree, but now, over a period of time, and you got to look at this in a more wider spread, the country itself, over a period of time, it's going to save people thousands of dollars.
That's what they're saying, and you know, I trust what they're saying.
Now, but now, you know, you're not going to be able to, it's not going to be something that's going to just jump in your lap right now, but over a period of time, it's supposed to be very beneficial.
You know, and if you trust what the politicians are saying, and that the plan's going to work the way it's supposed to, then that's what it'll do.
Right.
So
now, right now you got kids going to Troy, one going to Troy.
Yeah.
And where your other children go?
I got one at Charles Henderson High School, one at Charles Henderson Middle School, and one at Troy Elementary School.
Isn't that amazing,
Yeah.
man? You
Spread
spread it
this
out,
year.
didn't you?
Spread out this year.
And where's your wife from?
She grew up here. She grew up in Troy. She was a Williamson, but her mom was Vivian Ezel.
Yeah, I got
Was
you.
married
Yeah,
to
okay, I
Bobby
know.
Ezel.
Yeah, exactly.
So she grew up here. She teaches elementary school at Troy Elementary.
Okay.
She's in her 23rd year, I think. This
Oh
year,
boy,
so,
yeah.
So you know.
So you're involved,
We're
aren't you?
invested in Troy and Pike County, and want to be here.
Yeah. And all your kids play a sport, any?
Yeah, we're out of baseball. Hadn't done any baseball in a while. You know, my oldest played football, like I said. My second one's playing tennis now. My third one, right now he'd rather fish than do anything,
Yeah, well, that's
which is
good.
okay.
Yeah, that's right.
My
That's
youngest
right.
is playing in the church league basketball right
Yeah,
now, and he's enjoying that. So
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Of course, a family of 4 right here in Pike County. Of course, want to mention Troy Ford, or Pike County Ford, on the bypass right here in Troy, and want to say good morning to Jeremy and all the great folks out there, and of course under new ownership, and we appreciate the great folks at Pike County Ford. Also want to mention Hook's Barbecue today, and you want a great meal, believe you me, it doesn't get any better than Hook's Barbecue
stuff.
on the bypass right here in Troy.
That is some good stuff.
No question about it. And of course, I had a friend of mine that had dinner with us the other night, and everybody was ordering different things, and he was having a little bit of problem what to choose. I said, listen, try the ribs, you'll love them. And I think he's been back a couple of times since.
They do have good ribs. They are good.
And of course,
all off the bone.
And then last night, or the other night, boy, this time of year in this cold weather is good camp stew. And for $8 a quart, and the quart's usually a little bit bigger than this right here, is a wonderful camp stew.
I go get it often during the wintertime. I enjoy their camp stew.
Yeah, no question
Good
about
stuff.
it, and so forth. And we appreciate it. Again, Alabama is the national champion, and a lot of folks are coming back from Atlanta today, and there was some bad weather outside of Atlanta yesterday, and a lot of folks, they said traffic was backed up as usual.
Yeah, I think they had some snow and sleet and
and
icy stuff.
And hopefully everybody got in there and got back out okay, and they're home safely. Or a lot of people, the smart people, would have been the ones that would have spent the night and not tried to drive back in that bad weather yesterday. Auburn is at home to Ole Miss tonight, and that game will, let's see, I've got it right here.
Is it on TV?
Yeah, I'm almost positive it's going to be on television, but it also is, as I said, it's going to be played in Auburn. And let's go to our phones. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike, you knew I had to call this morning.
Boy, I know you did, buddy. Hey, were you excited last night?
Yeah, I tell you, there's one thing I got to know. Why can't Alabama get a field goal kicker?
That's what everybody's saying, you know.
You know, and they hadn't had one in the last 10 years that's been any good, tell you the truth.
I mean, a high school kicker can kick a 32-yard field goal. I mean, you know, give me a break.
I could have taken the kid from Goshen, and he would have kicked it through without any problem.
And I heard the kicker at Georgia wanted to come to Alabama, and they wouldn't give him a scholarship, so he went to Georgia.
Boy, oh boy. And you know what? Everybody looks at those glasses that he wears, and they say, oh, that guy's not a good. That guy will be a big-time kicker one day.
I told some of my friends maybe Bama needed to get a pair of those glasses that the Georgia kicker has for their kicker.
But, you know, let me ask you this. When he was going to kick that field goal, you didn't have a whole lot of confidence whether he was going to make it or not, did you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. But was that one of the great Alabama victories that you can ever remember?
Well, the guy, he missed that field goal in the Clemson game, but he hit the upright. I mean, it wasn't that terrible of a kick. But last night he had 2 horrible shakes.
He just duck hook it. You know, you're a big golfer and you're a wedge player. You know, kicking X point's a lot like hitting a wedge, isn't it? I mean, you got to keep your head down, don't you?
And you have to follow through. And he didn't do either. You know, he just duck hooked him.
Oh yeah, no question about it. Well, Will, you being an Alabama fan though, you had to be tickled pink with Tua. We were talking. Stephen Curtis is my guest this morning. You know Stephen.
Oh yeah.
Hey, as good as this guy's been, and Hurts has been a good one, I wouldn't doubt if they didn't move him to a running back. What do you think?
That or wide receiver, he'll be something. He won't be a quarterback anymore.
I don't think he will either. And of course, his future at the next level would not be as a quarterback. Do you think?
And I tell you who I think he's like. He's like Randall Cobb.
I was going to mention the same thing. Randall Cobb was a quarterback at one time.
At Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he was a very good quarterback, but he could not project in the NFL, so he became a wide receiver, and he's an all-star wide receiver for the Packers.
Did you talk to any of your folks that went to the game?
Oh, yeah. I tell you what's funny. Judge Garner sent me a picture of him and his boy at 2:30 in the damn morning.
Oh, Stephen and I were talking. I bet people had a hard time getting out of there last night.
I put it on my Facebook last night. He woke me up at 2:30 in the morning.
How about that?
He and his son were at the game.
Well, I always thought the hardest place was to get out of was Auburn, but people told me that it's hard to get out of Atlanta that late in the night.
Yeah.
I asked Stan. He's been the district judge in Ozark for probably 10 or 12 years, and I asked him before he went. I said, "What if somebody offers you $10,000 for those tickets?" He said, "I wouldn't sell these tickets for $100,000.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Oh, boy.
He's loyal. He goes.
No question. You know, I didn't tape the game. I wish I had. Just a lot of it, I wanted to hear the commentary. You know, in fact, I watched the game at our local club here, and it has a big giant screen, and I watched a little bit of the commentation after the game. They were talking about that game on ESPN at 2:00 last night. I mean, you're talking about
it was still on, yeah.
Exposure. Gosh, unbelievable exposure Alabama got last night.
Mike, not only did I tape the game, I taped the Paul Feinbaum film room.
Yeah, how did that go? I bet that was something, wasn't it?
It's great. And Gene Chizik was on there the whole time.
I like Chizik, don't you?
He's very smart. I was surprised. He pretty much, as the game was going on, he pretty much said what all he did, and they brought up Tua, and he said, look, there's no way Saban is going to put Tua in the game. He's a freshman.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You know, it's just too big a thing. And McElroy said the same thing.
Did McElroy say the same thing?
And then Booger McFarland said, I'll tell you what, if he doesn't put him in, they're going to get beat.
Well,
hey, I think he's right.
You know, Booger, was he an All-American at Georgia?
LSU.
Didn't he go to, he went to LSU?
Yeah.
Boy, he is a sharp dude, isn't he?
I like watching him.
He's very good. I mean, he's very good, personable.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it was a game to remember. And as we mentioned, you know, I was sitting in a group of people last night, of course, good friends of mine, and some of them were involved more in the game than normal, you know. You might have a little wager. And, boy, hey, how would you like to be the guy that had the game under last night or had the game actually over last night? The over-under was 46, I think, last night. And that game was completely, nobody even gave it a chance. And the final score was 49 total points.
Yeah.
I had Georgia, and I won that, and I lost the over. But if Alabama kicks the field goal, they'll win both ways.
Yeah. Well, and of course, Georgia definitely played a very good football game. But there was one play, and Stephen and I were talking. Fromm was outstanding and looked like a veteran player until late in the ball game. You remember they had a guy out in the flat, wide open, and all he has to do is get the ball to him. They got a first down, and they keep the clock moving, and they might have at least gone down and got something. Well, he threw it over his head. You remember that?
That's right.
And it was the first real bad play he made the entire ball game, and this was with less than 5 minutes to play.
Yeah. But Fromm only hit like half his passes. He was not, he wasn't that great.
Well, let me tell you another thing too, and people, they were talking about how bad Hurts looked sometimes, running out of the pocket. Well, you know what? If you think about it, he didn't have much time to throw downfield. The line did not, and even Tua had to run for his life pretty much every time. But
Georgia's got a great defense.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this: the young Harris kid, the young one who came to Alabama as the #1 running back in the country out of California, wasn't he?
Yep, and
Harris.
He played a good game too.
And he really made some big plays. Well, after he started making those big runs, then the play action started working. That we were able to have a little bit more time. I tell you, this guy is the real deal. And last night, the first thing that came to my mind was franchise. Well, Alabama's going to be hard to beat with this guy.
Well, and think about this. Alabama had 4 true freshmen on the field.
I heard it was 6.
Minutes a game. I'm on offense. They had 4 true freshmen playing.
Well, the guy that caught the pass, I had never heard of him.
Yeah.
The Smith guy. Have you ever heard of him?
You'll hear from him some more, I imagine.
Yeah.
But I had never actually heard of him. His name was DeMonte Smith or something like that.
He lit up that corner. He beat him. He had a 4 or 5 yard stride on him.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he sure did. And that guy at 14 had been messing with Alabama all night long, getting in people's face, and I was tickled that they beat him.
Yeah.
I tell you a play that was huge. You remember when Georgia almost had that interception in the end zone?
Yeah, trapped him
and he didn't have possession. Boy, that was a huge play. And, of course, Alabama ended up getting a field goal out of it. But there were several plays down the stretch that if Georgia makes them, they got a chance to win the game.
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
And it's Fromm kid. But, no, one other thing, though, that was very big. Chubb, who is considered one of the top running backs in the nation, ladies and gentlemen, ran the ball 18 times last night for 25 yards. The other kid, Michael Michelle, or however you pronounce it, he rushed for almost 100 yards, or a little over 100 yards. Yeah. And they didn't run him as much as they ran Chubb. And Will, are you still there? All right, here, let's go to. All right, I'm gonna put you on hold a minute. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Morning.
Where you been, son? Asleep? Well, where you been?
Well, you go to bed about 1 o'clock, and you got one baby that wakes up screaming, hollering about 1:30, and other baby's been sick.
Yeah. Well, let me put you on hold a minute. Let me put you on hold and.
Well, you might want to leave me on because I don't know if you'll ever get me back if you put me on hold.
No, I'm gonna get you back right now. I'm trying to put all of y'all on together. Wait a minute. All right, are you on still?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go back to Will a minute. All right, Will, you on?
Nope.
Will.
They're both on hold, it looks like.
Okay, Will Matthews.
I'm here.
All right, I'm gonna try to bring Mike Amos on here, and I'll be right back with you.
I don't know how to do it.
All right, here we go. Right here. This is the conference call. All right, one more time. All right, Mike, y'all both on now?
Nope.
I'm on.
All right, Will, you on?
Yeah,
Yeah, we on. All right. Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham this morning, and Will Matthews from Ozark, two huge Alabama guys. And Mike, first of all, I'm going to ask you and Will the same question. Were you scared to death? Did you think Alabama had any chance to come back and win that football game?
Well, I mean, I thought the biggest difference was that Saban, made the move at quarterback. I mean, that was a gutsy move considering, Jalen Hurts is 25-2 as a starter. I mean, the only thing I have a problem with in that second half is you're relying on a kicker that is very average at best. I mean, it almost turned into a pro football game at the very end with Dayball and Saban trying to line up a field goal when Alabama's just marching down the field.
Exactly.
Najee Harris and Tua. I mean, try to score a touchdown and win the game that way. If not, give him pretty much an extra point to kick. 35-yard field goal for that guy, you knew. I mean, I would have gave him a 50-50 chance to make it, and he didn't even come close.
Yeah.
All I can say today is thank God they came back and won that game.
Yeah. And and I'd say thank God for him, because that kid.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Bless that guy's heart.
That kid would have been a GOAT for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Oh, they would have been talking about his name for the rest of our lives. I mean, thank goodness.
Well, I'm tickled. And, of course, I know Booty Bruce out at Horn Beverage is tickled.
Yes.
All right, Will, what was your feeling? Did you think that it was over with last night?
At halftime?
No, I never doubted we would have a shot to win the game when he changed quarterbacks. We're sitting there at halftime. I'm saying he needs to put Tua in because he can throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Georgia's just cramming everything. They're just playing. They're playing 10 men within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
But of course, Tua did drop back and throw the ball downfield a lot, but he was in trouble most of the whole ball game. Alabama's line did not give either one of them much protection. And Tua had to improvise last night.
Late in the game, they blocked. The best offensive tackle got hurt, Jonah Williams, and they brought in
they had a freshman in there. They had a freshman in there.
Leatherwood came in and played lights out.
Yeah.
And that's not counting that Lester Cotton was out of the game. They had two backup offensive linemen in there at the very end. You don't think he had time to throw on that last bomb?
Well, he did, but a lot of times though he had to improvise. Run out of the pocket, and gosh, he's faster than Hurt. This guy's fast.
Yeah.
I talked to some friends at the game last night, and they said it was about a 60-40 crowd difference with Georgia fans.
Yeah, big.
I mean, I'm sure Georgia fans probably couldn't sleep last night. I mean, that's one of the worst losses you can suffer there.
Yeah, it's a tough one to swallow for them.
Well, when they kicked the 51-yard field goal, and then especially after Tua lost 18 yards on the sack, I said, man, it's over with because no way in the world our guy could kick the field goal that far.
Hey, listen, this is the deal. Kirby's a great coach, but Kirby's defense blew it there in the end. If you've got a second down and 26 yards, which is what they had.
Yeah.
You put 8 defensive backs in there then, and you don't give somebody anything deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You make them get 26 yards in 2 plays.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, it was one unbelievable win, and I was with some people last night, and Mike, you can understand some of the people I was with last night when Alabama missed that field goal. Oh, it was like the end of the world. I mean, hey, this guy was devastated. And you know what? And it was the Lord taking care of Papanaskas, evidently, to come back, and Alabama come back and win that game.
The line out in Vegas was 3.5 kick. So I'm sure a lot of people probably bought a half a point.
And the over-under, yeah, they did. And the over-under was 46.
When you win that, when you hit the game winner at the end, you don't have to kick the extra point. But there's a lot of people wish they could have kicked that extra point.
Yeah, for sure.
That's right, no question about it. It lost a lot of money for a lot of people. Will, what was you doing last night? Were you trying to play dominoes and watch the game at the same time?
Yeah, we had the best time. We played dominoes and had steaks and baked potatoes and at a friend of mine's house in Hartford.
Yeah.
And we had a great time.
Yeah, and you watched all the ball games.
And then I taped the whole ball game, and then I was telling you, Dad, Michael, I taped Paul Feinbaum's film room. I taped that.
Yeah, that'd be good to go back and watch.
Much better. Yeah, that thing was so much better than watching the other thing. It's ridiculous.
No question about
It's
it.
really good.
Well, they had coaches on one channel. They had Sumlin, had Cutcliffe, had Matt Luke from Ole Miss, had Fitzgerald, the Northwestern coach. They had Gundy, the Oklahoma State coach.
Gosh, what were they talking about?
Really?
They're watching the game and commentating on the game. It's the coaching.
Yeah, I would have loved to have heard their comments because Georgia just downright.
Cutcliffe said several times he thought the game was over, but Alabama kept on coming back. Bobo played at Georgia.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Michael, this thing with Feinbaum had Greg McElroy, Chiswick, and Booger McFarland for half the game, and then that other guy, he was a lineman at LSU. I can't remember his name.
I've heard Chiswick's name mentioned as Alabama's defensive coordinator, but I don't know if that'll happen or not.
Well, I tell you what, he's a good football coach, and he was a legendary guy, Mike, at Central Florida years ago.
Yeah.
He was very, I tell you what, he was very articulate, very smart. He explained what was going on, and they were talking at halftime. They said, they need to put Tua in, and Chiswick said Saban will never do it. He's an unproven freshman. McElroy will never do it, and McFarland said, Booger McFarland said he better. He's going to get beaten.
Yeah. Let me tell you a guy that I have a lot of respect for is the former Georgia defensive end who's one of the commentators, the sharp guy. And you know what he said this later on, he said he couldn't believe it. He said I can't believe that guy made that play. When he ran out of the pocket, he just kept saying I can't believe this guy. And it was unbelievable. Tua was just unbelievable the way he played.
He's going to be the starter for the next 3 years, and you can forget Hurts. He's going to have to.
Yeah, Mike, we're talking about who. All right, Will, don't say anything, and I think Mike's going to almost agree with you. Who does Hurt remind you of, Mike?
You remind me of?
No, a player that is no longer playing quarterback in the pros, but played quarterback in college.
Tim Tebow?
No, not Tebow, but the kind of player. Randall, we'll tell you, he was saying Randall Cobb. He does remind you a lot of Randall Cobb, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that a little bit. I see him maybe transferring back to Houston, where he's from, and playing for Jimbo at Texas A&M.
Really?
Yeah.
And so you actually think he might transfer?
No, I mean, why would you not want to play a quarterback if you're 22 as a starter? I mean,
well, Tua was going to transfer. I mean, I'd heard that he was going to transfer. Did you hear that, Will?
Tua is not going to transfer.
No, I know, but before this happened last night, he was, wasn't he?
He wasn't going anywhere. His whole family has moved to Alabama, and he's got a younger brother that's better than him.
I know, but I heard they're going to move back to California.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen now.
I think they're going to be Alabama.
Wouldn't that be unbelievable to have a Tua and his brother for the next 8 years?
Well, that'd be fine. We'll take them.
All I know is Jalen Hurts, is a great college quarterback. He'll never play at the next level, even close to play quarterback.
I used to compare him with the Seattle coach. Quarterback.
Could you play him at running back? I don't even know.
See, that's what I would do. I'd play him at running back.
For that.
He's 6'2", 225.
Is he that big?
He could be
He
could be a slot guy.
Oh yeah.
I think he could be a slot receiver.
And he's got pretty good speed. I don't think he's as fast as Tua. Do you think? Tua looks fast.
Hurts is fast.
Hurts is fast too.
Well, I tell you what, he'll play somewhere.
Calvin Ridley had disappeared throughout that game last night. I mean, thank goodness he called the touchdown.
You know, the touchdown pass that he called looked like they were throwing to the other guy, and the other guy was being tackled I wonder would they have called throwing a flag on that play?
I don't know, but the cornerback for Georgia, number 14, I can't think of his name, but he's the one Alabama picks on throughout the game. He's the one that
Oh yeah, and I didn't like him, Mike. He was trying to talk stuff all night long.
I don't know how Rakeem Davis, who got the interception and had the big sacks. I mean, Payne had a great game, but Davis.
Oh, he was really good.
Should have been the MVP.
Yeah, no question about it. We're talking football, talking about the Alabama game last night and a big win over the Georgia Bulldogs. And
Auburn fans will be calling in all day today saying, but they didn't beat us.
Oh yeah, exactly. No question about it.
I haven't said that now.
Well, if I was an Auburn fan, I'd be saying it.
Yeah. We'll Alabama's outlook and see when Tua does what he did last night, it's changing a lot of people's minds on whether or not they're going to come to Alabama. Now they see Tua, and they know that Tua is going to probably take Alabama to some more championships. Alabama is going to help their recruiting tremendously. What do you think, Will?
Well,
I mean, don't you think these great players would love to come and play with Tua?
oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. You can't win the way the college game is now. You can't win if you can't throw the ball downfield. You can't win.
You know, Hurt would probably be a good quarterback at Auburn, Mike.
You know, the first guy hugging Saban on the sideline at the end of the game was Jerry Pate. Did you see that, Will?
Jerry Pate? I didn't know that. Well, you know, Jerry Pate was the big Bear Bryant guy, wasn't he, Will?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Yeah.
I mean, how many do you think Saban will win before he calls it quits? I mean, do you think?
I think he'll coach till he dies, to tell you the truth. He didn't have anything else to do, Mike.
I mean, in the next 5 years, how many national championships?
He needs to stop smoking cigarettes now.
I don't think he'll win.
Cigarette thing, I'm hearing something. I heard he does chews tobacco.
He chews tobacco in a big way, but I've heard he smokes cigarettes because somebody saw him in his backyard. Said his wife smoked too.
Hey, I think he'll win at least 3 in the next 5 more years.
That'd be unbelievable.
Certainly has the chance to.
But again,
tell me this: how many does Georgia win? I think Georgia probably wins 1 or 2.
Yeah. You know, last night though,
Georgia from here on out.
Mike, Georgia made a bad mistake last night. They ran Chubb 18 times for 25 yards. Michelle ran the ball for almost 100 yards. He was the one that was a threat because he's so fast. And
how many times did Alabama just not push the guy out of bounds? Georgia made a play.
Yeah.
I mean, on the sidelines last night, Georgia had a long run by Michelle. One time a receiver, all they had to do was knock him out of bounds.
Well, let me tell you this on that long touchdown pass that they claimed that,
out of bounds.
You know, it looked like he ran out of bounds because he looked like he touched the Alabama defender, and the Alabama defender was out of bounds. Doesn't that make him out of bounds if he touched the defender?
I don't know.
You know, on that touchdown, on that long touchdown?
Well, no, I mean, his heel was on the chalk. He was out of bounds.
I know it, but he also made contact with the Alabama tackler, and the Alabama tackler was laying on the ground
I don't know if that makes. I'm not sure.
And out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue though is thank goodness late in the game, if you're an Alabama fan, that Georgia, if they intercept that ball.
Yeah, you're right. We were talking about that.
Goes up 20-13. I mean, thank goodness he was bobbling. Yeah, he was bobbling it going out of bounds.
That was big.
Back of the end zone. Yeah. But that would have been a difference-making play as well. But,
now, let me ask you this. Was that the Alabama player that jumped on the coach, or was that the Georgia player that jumped on the coach?
It's Alabama. I don't know if it was a coach he jumped on.
All right. You saw him on the sideline, but didn't he come back in and make a big play?
On the kickoff.
Yeah, he came back in and made a big play, and I said, you know what I said? I said, get that guy out of there. Don't play him. He looked like he was.
Same thing.
What?
My wife said the same thing. You know, I'd never heard of that guy.
No, Mike, I never heard of the Smith guy that scored the touchdown.
He's the one that called the touchdown against Mississippi State.
He is number 6.
Yeah, the game-winning touchdown.
No, he was a tight end. Did that, wasn't he?
No. Smith called the game-winning touchdown against Mississippi State when they won that game.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you were on a bus ride coming back from
Yeah, that's right.
During Mississippi State game.
Will, you still on?
I'm here.
Will, what do you think?
Will, what did you think of his overall game plan as far as Dayball? I mean, do you think in the first half he's just limited to what he can do with Hurts, and then the second half he can finally call plays the way he wanted to with Tua?
I think Dayball has been frustrated with Hurts because, he's an NFL offensive coordinator. And Hurts is not an NFL quarterback. I don't blame Dayball. I think it's just when Georgia crams 10 men on the line of scrimmage, you got to throw it. You got to take what they're gonna give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hurts can't do that. Hurts just cannot throw the ball downfield.
Yeah. Well, now number one came in there and played good. Mike, who is he?
That's Robert Foster.
I thought he made a couple of plays, and then it was a couple other guys. It seemed like Alabama had a receiver number 4. Who was he?
That's Judy.
Yeah, Judy, and I don't know. He didn't do much.
Alabama will be back in Atlanta to open the season next year, and it's going to be a huge game. They're going to be playing Duke.
They're going to open up with Duke.
Really?
That
Powerhouse.
In Atlanta.
Really?
No, that's not next year.
Oh, that's not next year. Oh, well, I'll go to Florida next year.
We play at Orlando, and we play Louisville the first game.
Oh, okay.
Louisville. Oh, that's a little bit different, but the quarterback's going from Louisville.
Is he definitely leaving?
I swear I thought Alabama opened with Duke next year, but maybe they don't.
That might be 19, but 18 it's this year actually. First game we play Louisville in Orlando in that stadium down there.
Yeah.
Steven, Auburn's playing in Atlanta start of season 2. Who they play?
I don't know. I did hear the other day they were playing in the Georgia.
Yeah.
What's the name of Mercedes?
The Mercedes.
Men's stadium, yeah.
You've been in that stadium, Will? Is that right?
I still have not been in there.
Oh, okay.
But they say it's one of the nicest you can ever go to, and they say the concessions are really cheap, really reasonable. Like it's like one of those situations where you can get like a hamburger, a hot dog, and chips or something like $8 or $9.
Wow.
Of course, to start the game, the president was there, and I had talked to a lot of friends. That went to the game.
Yeah, did he get an ovation?
They opened the gates.
I would have thought he got an ovation. Did he? Did the president get an ovation, Mike?
He got a big ovation.
Well, Will, of course, this is right down your alley about the president. He is doing more than people think he's doing. We were talking about this tax thing, Will. Over a period of time, he's going to save some people a lot of money, don't you think?
Yeah, I like what he's doing. You were asking about Auburn. They're playing Washington in Atlanta the first game this year.
Okay.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
But they need of course, they're going to have a quarterback. They're going to have to get some running backs, but I think they'll be able to find some.
They signed the top running back in the state out of Decatur.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, this is a joke. And this burns me up, and I don't care who hears it or whatever. Auburn's second game of the year, guess who they're playing?
Presbyterian.
No, worse. Alabama State.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, yeah.
Did not know that.
Listen, if they can play Alabama State, why can't they play Troy?
No question about
I agree. They won't, though.
Because they got a chance to something happen like happened at LSU.
Yeah.
And
I'll take Hoover High School over Alabama State.
Yeah.
And they play Liberty. That's another. Even though
I think it's Troy that plays Presbyterian. I don't know how many people want to go to that game.
Liberty's going Division I, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Somebody this year is pretty good.
That's pretty sad.
Well, Will, your final.
They beat Baylor.
Yeah. Of course, defensively, Alabama's front. Did enough to hang in there to make some big plays at the end, and like you said, this 99 was all over the field for Alabama. And then, of course, you look at all those defenders. Mike, who is number 9?
That's Deshaun Hand.
All right. And then, of course, 99 is who?
The kid from is Rakeem Davis. 32 is Rashad Evans.
Yeah.
Kid from Auburn High School. Then Mac Wilson, the kid from Carver out of Montgomery, really came in and played well the last 2 games.
Number 30.
Yeah.
And, of course, there was number 68. Who is that big guy?
68?
Yeah, I saw number 68 in there. A big guy. But, of course, Alabama should be as good on defense as they were this year. Now, we're going to lose our great safety, though, aren't we?
Yeah, Mika's going pro.
Yeah. He made a big play down the stretch. You remember that?
Did you see where our center, number 75, proposed to his girlfriend after the game?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, she's a basketball player at Alabama, and he's about 6'5". She's probably about 6 foot. They'll probably have a 7-footer.
Oh, boy, no question about it. Well, you know, again, it was sad for Smart to lose that ball game, but there's no question right now that you got Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia are 3 top-notch programs in the SEC. Florida can't help but be better. Tennessee can't help but be better. LSU will be better. Only team that won't be better is probably Vanderbilt. What do you think?
Ole Miss won't be better, I'll guarantee you that.
You don't think they will?
No, Ole Miss is going to be going down big time. They've stripped them a bunch of scholarships, too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Will's a Vanderbilt grad, Dad. So
I know it. I know he is.
He's going to think the best of Vandy.
We don't recognize football up there.
I'll say one thing: Jeremy Pruitt's stock is even up bigger than it was before he got the Tennessee job. I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah.
No distractions. It was nothing like the Lane Kiffin situation. He handled it a lot better than Kirby handled it.
Yeah.
You know, Alabama's defense against Clemson 2 years ago gave up about 40 points. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt really did a great job coaching that defense to the very end.
And you mentioned that Chiswick might be going to Alabama.
Well, I mean, that name's been floating out there. They might promote from within Tosh McCoy, who was the co-defense coordinator, even though Pruitt was pretty much defense.
Looks like now everybody that wants to coach, South Carolina wanted to coach. They got a defense coordinator. Georgia got a defensive coordinator.
Lost their secondary coach that played at Troy and is good friends of ours. I mean, we've known him for years.
Yeah, I saw him last night.
Derek Ansley is now the defensive coordinator at Colorado State.
Is he? When did he get that job?
They announced it yesterday. So he was making $350,000 as a secondary coach at Alabama.
Wow.
And now he's going to be a defensive coordinator at Colorado State. I don't know if Colorado State can pay $400,000.
No, I don't think they can either. You know.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
My friend Charles Kelly was offered that job
from Florida.
Florida State's got to pay him $900,000 the next 3 years. Charles Kelly, because Jimbo did not take him to Texas A&M. So
yeah, he's the guy from Ozark.
Yeah, right. Now,
is he gonna stay at Florida State, or where's Kelly going?
No, he's going to Tennessee. And he's going to be the defensive back coach and special teams coach.
Okay, yeah.
And Florida State's got to pay him $900,000, so Tennessee's going to pay him about $300,000, and so Florida State will have to pay him $600,000.
Wow.
Boy, that's something.
How about that?
Now, who is the defense coordinator that just got the big raise from LSU? Didn't he get over $2 million?
Dave Aranda, yeah, 2.5.
Isn't that unreal?
Amazing.
They paying that defense coordinator $2 million?
$2.5 million.
Oh boy, isn't that amazing?
And it's guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's great that y'all called in today and talk about this ball game.
Yeah, I'm sure Stephen was excited to hear this day.
My wife asked me. She said,
"An Auburn fan."
My wife said, "You ready to go talk Alabama football this morning?" I said, "I'll go. It's all right."
Exactly. Okay, Roll Tide. Alabama wins again the national championship. Again, Big Al's excited. Now get ready for a big parade from downtown Tuscaloosa, Mike. When do you think it'll be, Saturday? And they're all gone. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed our show. You can watch us again today at 1:30. Appreciate all of our sponsors. Stephen, thank you so much for being on our show.
Good to be here.
See you tomorrow, bright and early for Today in L.A.